Okay, here is one chunk of sea grape that I've split down the middle, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more big chunks, 5 more big chunks, and I'll be making multiple things out of sea grape, which interestingly enough has this orange tint to it. So it's fresh cut on that flat surface there on the left and right. You can see in the middle there where it was ripped. When they were trimming this out of the tree, they got a branch that just ripped off. And then if you look at the end down here, maybe you can see it. It's kind of, here, let me just tip it up. So it's very orange. I don't know what it does, because obviously this was exposed longer than these ends by a small amount, and that's about the color it makes on the side of the grain. Okay, here's my piece of sea grape that's been sitting out in the driveway for several weeks now. When I first cut this in half with the chainsaw, it was kind of almost white, kind of creamish milk colored. And over time it's changed to this orange color. Now, what I don't know is what it's going to look like as I machine things away, and it'll turn back to cream color probably, and there'll be areas where if I don't take the wood, it'll be orange, and if I do, it'll be cream, and then maybe it'll turn back to orange yet again when it's exposed to the environment. I don't know if it's oxidation or UV or what, because the colors do tend to be even out of the direct sun when I had it in the driveway. So it may be that it's oxidation. Oh, okay, I've made my sled for turning a circle. So I'm going to put a dowel in here, a 3/8 inch dowel, and it's in this table, and I can offset where it'll be in the offset left and right where it'll be in the table. So I'll run this in halfway and then spin it. Now, because this log is so big, I gotta think about how I'm gonna start so that I can round all the corners without getting stuck with this far side running into this side. And I may have to back up and turn around or so. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but we'll see if I figure it out. Okay, I've got this piece of sea grape mounted on the woodworm screw and the chuck. I have turned this round with my new circle cutting jig on the bandsaw. And you can see where it's fresh cut, it's fairly light. I guess there's a little bit of smearing here of something. This is what was aged out in the driveway for a while, and there you can see fresh cut again. The bark is still on in a lot of places, so it's going to be light under that. So I may have to try and expose this to the environment for some amount of time to get this to turn orange before I put a coat of finish on it. The trick will be getting the finish sanded well enough without taking off the orange. I don't know what's going to happen, how I'm going to go about doing it, but I'll experiment a little bit here. Okay, I've got the basic outside shape. You can see I have a tenon in here. I've got a foot here that I'm gonna curve this corner, get rid of this corner, make a curve, which means I'll probably lose this bark feature, but I got all this here. I've got a few holes that I decided to patch. This has got coffee grounds and CA glue. Each place I've done it, you can see here had some cracks that are happening because it's drying, so I don't know if I'm premature on putting those in or not. And there's several other just cracks that are like there was dead wood there. So, and overall you can see this is very creamy white color, except for the cambium layer of the bark. And if I come over this way a little bit, there, you can see this was exposed and it turned orange, and eventually it'll turn red. This side is bark. My intent is to dish a bowl on this side but not break out anywhere. So depending on which of these features, like this one or this one, are the farthest in, my intent is to clear it by a 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch and make the bowl as big as I can make it outside of that. Now I got to be careful here. So it'll be pretty thick because it's got to be at least an 1/8 or 1/4 inch inside of this, and that's at least an inch from this surface. So the bowl is going to be at least an inch thick everywhere where it's not dished out for whatever reason feature that's on the bowl. You can see a lot of features here that are would be nice, I think, if the bark was removed, but I had a lot of difficulty. I was trying to remove some here, and that's part of the reason I made this farther in, is because it was breaking but not peeling off. It's well adhered. So I decided to go ahead and machine this in until it was nice and clean, and so that means I won't be taking any bark off of here, unless in my drying process it starts to fracture or come loose. Well, I've got this bowl turned around. I got the outside sanded to 320, got the cracks filled with CA glue and dust and coffee grounds. You can see this area is orange. I sanded it a little bit. It still is going to need some sanding, but I don't know where I'm stopping. I'm going to wait to do any more work here. Plus all of this is now 320. I got the foot done. I'm going to have to remove the tenon once I get done. But I'm going to hollow this out. My intent is to leave some amount of wood here at least, and probably here. So I may come in farther. I'm not sure. I'd like to leave as much of this torn area as possible, but I may break into it because I want to lighten it up a little bit, and I'll see how it goes. Okay, I just wanted to check the moisture just to see what I am. So down deep in the wood where I've just recently cut it is 28-29%. So there's pretty high moisture content. I'll probably microwave this a little bit more once I get a little deeper. And I do 5 minutes at a time, 50% power, a 1200 watt microwave. And I try to let it cool down between times I run it. I think I've done like 25 minutes when this was mostly solid. It's dropped at least a half a pound just from water. Now obviously I machined the wood away, so it's not going to be quite the same now. I have my sea grape bowl here. I'm going to go ahead and put Minwax sanding sealer and then some polyurethane on. Often I use just oil, tongue oil, but in this case I'm going to go with a polyurethane finish. So, and it has this slight orange tint. I don't know what happens over a long time, but I have a bowl I made a few weeks back and it got darker, but not much darker, and so who knows. I haven't figured out how to force it to get dark. And as soon as I put the polyurethane on, it may change its rate of change because it's sealing it, so we'll see. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe for more similar wood turning videos. Please comment on the video and I should respond. I make a video about once a week. Okay, here is my second sea grape bowl. It turned out pretty nice. It has a slight orange tint, and I think that it would get more orange if it was exposed without finish to the atmosphere. I don't know if it's oxidation or what. I don't think it's UV. Here you can see an early on spot where it turned kind of orange, and I didn't touch it with any machine tools. I did sand it a little bit, but that only got the tips of the valleys and such. I left bark, live edge in a couple of places here and on the other side. And I repaired most of the little cracks and such that were appearing. And I used CA glue and coffee grounds. This hole here I did not repair. I decided to just leave it there. And I like this rip here and the bark that's on there. What's one interesting thing, let me turn this over just for a second. And I suspect you can see, note how light this is right here. That is where I machined it just before I put finish on. And I didn't wait for it to turn color. So I think it's going to stay lighter than the rest of the bowl. And who knows, over time it may start to oxidize, but it's coated with finish, so that tends to insulate it from oxygen if that's the change factor. But in any case, you can see the bark there nicely. So in any case, that's it. I have quite a bit more sea grape, and I may get some of it to stay more orange, or I'll leave more unfinished areas that will stay the dark orange that they occur when it sits there.